Hi everyone, you reached Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. If this is your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. For all you out there, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. Hit the like button, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. And share my video with your friends and family so that they can come to my channel and get to know me also. I'm here today with my recap on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They're in season 11. It was episode 18, Del Mar by the Shade. Listen, this particular episode, it wasn't really too much of anything, but of course we got our same little snippets of stories. You know, I call it story time by Erika because in my opinion, everything she says does not add up. You know, before she was saying she wasn't threatening something, she was making promises, but then in this particular episode, she's like, you know, if she deserves to be threatened. Erika, make up your mind. What are you going to do? Are you going to threaten her promise, or which one is it? But before we get into all of that, the ladies are off on a nice little long weekend trip, and you gotta love Kathy Hilton. I think she's giving a whole different vibe to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm here for it. I love her. So anyway, Kathy, everybody's meeting at Kyle's house so they can, you know, go off on this excursion. Kathy gets there. She forgot her pocketbook at home. She tells Kyle to tell the lady, literally the lady, to, you know, get her bag and bring it to her. So they call the lady. The lady answers the phone and meets them off like on the side of the highway to bring Kathy her bag. You gotta love it. That's money for you, right? The lady comes and brings you your bag. Anyway, you know, that's Kathy, and like I said, I'm here for Kathy. But we're on this trip. Garcelle and Sutton, for whatever reason, is running behind. Well, Garcelle is running behind because she had to film her show, The Real, before she can actually, you know, go on the trip with the ladies. But she did meet them there. So when they first get there, they have this absolutely gorgeous, and I think I'm really going to do it this summer. They had this picnic like on the beach or, you know, by the water, and everyone was there except Sutton and Garcelle. And pretty much Erika said she's like never, ever, ever going to forgive, you know, Sutton. Like the door is closed. And so everybody is using that little phrase now, the phrase that is coined by none other than Nene Leakes, you know, when she said the door was closed. So now everybody seems to use that particular statement. I tell you what, lover or hater, Nene gave us all a lot of good reality TV, and she also gave us all a lot of little sayings that, you know, like I said, many are using to this day. But anyway, Erika pretty much said between her and Sutton, the door is closed because no one, she said, what you don't do, you don't call me a liar. Well, Erika, what do you want us to say? Do you want us to say you're misrepresenting the truth? Would that, you know, land a little bit better with you? Because I don't care what you say. I don't care how scary you appear to be. The stories don't add up. And if you're watching this in real time, you would have to agree with yourself to say, listen, even, yeah, I can see how people are thinking my stories don't add up. So before, when you told the story about your husband allegedly falling off of some cliff, being unconscious for 12 hours, you told it as it were fact. You said he fell off some cliff. He was unconscious for 12 hours and he needed surgery on his head, in his ankle. You refused to let him do it on his head because he had a traumatic brain injury, and there's no way he should go under with a traumatic brain injury, but you were okay with you know, operating on his ankle. Well, and you said something about the doctors and the agreement or whatever. Well, here's the thing. There's people that go and have been in major car accidents, and they had head injuries, and the doctors, and they had traumatic brain injuries and head injuries, and the doctors had to operate on them to save their life. But I forgot she did add because of his age. Okay, Erika. And so now when she tells the story this episode, what she's saying is, now she put the word allege in front of it. But before that, she wasn't using the word allege, but now she's using the word allege. Well, anyway, Erika, can you understand and see? Can we be real with each other? Can you feel us? How we just saying like your math doesn't add up, the stories doesn't make sense, and no matter how we twist it, turn it, flip it, we can't make it make sense. All right. Anyway, let's carry on. So now all the ladies are there. Okay. They have this nice dinner. Everybody gets dressed up. Kathy planned the dinner because it's, I guess, Kathy's trip that she, put together for the ladies. Kathy planned the dinner. They're all there. They're sitting there. And again, here they go, asking everyone, how do they feel in one word, okay? Kathy said she felt anxious. And the reason why she was anxious is because she feels like, there's unresolved situations at this table. And she wants everybody to just resolve them. Erika says she's fearful. And, we went on and on around the table. So here we go. Poor Sutton. Because Sutton is always taking a beating, and Sutton already has something going on physically with her foot, that she had to go to the ER for, get wrapped up, get taken care of. She's being rolled around in a wheelchair, for the whole, trip or whatever the case may be. So now Sutton feels the need to re-explain herself to Erika. Even though the door's already closed, Sutton wants to tap on the door yet again. It's like Sutton wants to just keep taking a beating after beating after beating. So Sutton says to Erika, listen, I held this meeting about you. And when I did it, it was because, I was anxious. I know I'm paraphrasing. I was anxious, I had anxiety about it or whatever. And, I didn't know what to think. So I had this meeting. Erika, because Erika is a very nasty nice, I'm gonna say. Okay, I would say nice nasty, but she's like nasty nice, or she's just nasty nasty. She pretty much told her, like, why are you talking to me? I have nothing to say to you. You call me a liar, I'm done. This doesn't matter. And she looks at the other, this is stupid. I'm not giving this any more energy. Yo, Erika, that chick is just so nasty. It is unbelievable. But what's even more unbelievable is that the ladies sit there and they accept it. And although she was talking to Sutton, none of y'all would look at her and say like, whoa, seriously, you being this nasty to Sutton, but yet your husband, who is being accused of stealing money from the orphans and burn victims, you can show him all kind of grace because you was married to him for 22 years. He shouldn't be put in a home where nobody's going to come see him, or he's not going to be taken care of. But because this chick over here used the word liar, she's the devil, and you can't ever speak to her again? Make that make sense, Erika, because I don't get it. But anyway, Erika showed her no mercy, no grace, even though Kathy Hilton pretty much begged. It was like, come on, I think Sutton used the wrong words. Like, let's give her a break. Erika was like, nah. So that's what happened between Erika and Sutton. Now, we're still at this dinner. Lo and behold, because Lisa Rinna can't let it go, and neither can Dorit. They're pouncing, and I call it pouncing, again on Garcelle. Okay, Lisa Rinna is telling Garcelle she's shady, tell her truth. And then they got the nerve, Dorit wants to bring up, she said she likes her friends to be transparent. These are her words, transparent. She likes transparency. Okay, because that's how you get to know people. That's how you fit in. This is what these ladies are saying. Well, what Dorit says, that's an interesting word you use. Transparent? Transparency? Every time you get around Erika, you're not being transparent. You have yet to tell her that you had similar concerns like Sutton. You have yet to tell her that your husband, PK, ain't feeling the situation that Erika's going through right now. You have yet to be transparent with her and tell her that your husband think that her laying down and spreading her legs for some ad, for some lingerie, is not the right time and place. But you think that someone should be transparent. Garcelle should be transparent because that's how you build friendships. Well, Dorit, what is going on with your friendship with Garcelle? Okay? So you want Garcelle to be transparent, and what I meant to say is, what is going on with your friendship with Erika? Garcelle should be transparent, but you don't have to be. But transparency is how you build relationships. So anyway, let's get back. Lisa Renner chimes in and say, Garcelle, I think you're being shady. And Garcelle, I love Garcelle, but Garcelle does not know how to handle these situations. If they transplanted Kenya Moore into the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, those ladies would be having a whole different ball game right now. Matter of fact, they wouldn't even be coming for Kenya like that. But we got Garcelle, she's there, so we got to deal with it. So Garcelle breaks down, and she pretty much tells them, and this I wholeheartedly believe. I believe it was so authentic. And she said it wasn't a race thing, and I truly believe that. She's like, listen, it's rough being the only girl of color, the brown girl, in a group with all of the ladies that don't look like me. She said, did you ever think how I felt? She broke down, she cried, she said how everywhere she goes, her whole life, she always had to try to fit in. And then Kathy tried to, I guess break the ice and was like, I have trouble fitting in too. I felt like that sometimes. But then Garcelle had to say, like, all the time? So what are my thoughts on that? One, I go in and out with Garcelle because sometimes I get so mad how I feel like she's just not trying to stand up, how she's not trying to let these ladies know and be as pouncy as they are sometimes. Because sometimes in order for people to understand, you got to give them what they're giving you. But this is how I feel about that situation. I think it's difficult, and it's shocking that in this century that we're in the year 2021 and we still can't seem to mix with the people that well, and I'm talking about overall. So you had when on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kim Zolciak was the only, white girl. And although she lasted long on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and although she held her own, I'll tell you that, she's doing better than Garcelle. So although she held her own, they did, she was the punching bag a lot. So Kim had a hard way on that show. And then towards the end, the last season that she was on there, they called the racist. It got nasty. But I will give her this. Kim did hold her own for many seasons on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, but it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. And so I'm wondering, when will we learn? When will we all just get along? When will we learn how to mix? Now we got to go to the Real Housewives of New York. They introduced Ebony on there this year, and I want to say her name is Rashawn Shaw. They introduced those two ladies. It wasn't as bad, but the mixing, it was like it didn't mix that well. It was like a salad where no matter how much you mix it, you can still pluck out the tomatoes, the cucumbers, and the lettuce. You can still separate everything. So it was a mix, but it wasn't a mix. So again, it's like the ladies don't know how to, really become friends and really interact with someone outside of their circle, their normal circle or their group, okay? So we had it try to happen in the Real Housewives of New York. Didn't really work that well. Matter of fact, this particular season of the Real Housewives of New York, I think is their lowest ratings ever, okay? And so now we have Garcelle. I had to take a look at my notes here. Now we have Garcelle on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and she's struggling. I think part of it is Garcelle. I really think that, like I said, if you threw Kenya Moore there, we would be having a whole different show. I'm hoping that Garcelle finds her way. I want to see her stay on there, but if she's going to stay, she's going to have to buckle up her seatbelt, put her big girl panties on, and get herself together. So she flops in and out. She gets shady, but then when they punch back, she want to back down and go in her corner and cry. You can't do that, Garcelle. You got to give it. You got to take it. You got to be prepared for it. And you have to find your way to spend time and really get to know these ladies and be friends with them. Let's carry on. The only thing worth speaking about after that, we end the episode, for me, I would say pretty much, where Erika, it's another story time session with Erika. That's what I'm going to call it. Story time. So we have this story time session with Erika. She calls Kyle and Lisa Renner to her room, and she's reading this article, or she read this article where Tom's brother needs to take over his affairs. Her ex-husband Tom, his brother needs to take over his affairs because he's not in his right mind. They want to put him in a home, but then she said his family doesn't care. She's like, where's his kids? He shouldn't be put in a home because her grandmother was put in a home and Tom paid for it. So here she are. I say this again. This is the man who was mean, nasty to you, had a temper, started to lose his right mind towards the end before you actually left. But yet, okay, he was losing his mind, but the day you left, you took him to his office to go to work, you dropped him off, or you walked into the car, or whatever. So this man that was losing his mind was still working, and he was paying all of these bills. And he paid the facility where your grandmother stayed until she went to the other side. That's interesting. Really interesting. I've never met a man in my life that was so controlling, but yet every single thing you wanted, he paid for it. And he paid for Nana to be in this facility, the home. And none of these homes are cheap, even when you don't have money. So I can't even imagine that you would put Nana in one of the cheaper ones. So she tells this elaborate story about, him and having to go to this home, and it's heartbreaking to her. And even though they're not together, it's still a man she was married to for 22 years, and she would hate to see him rot away, I'm paraphrasing, rot away in a home, and nobody's going to care for him, and no one's going to come see him. And you want to know who your true friends are? Go broke, don't have any more money, and that's when you're going to see. That's what she said. Well, Erika, this is my problem. My problem is, I get it. When you're married to someone for 22 years, you don't all of a sudden just fall out of love. But you claim your leaving was tumultuous. You had to sneak out. You had to sneak away in the middle of the night. He didn't even know you was leaving. And now you're like, you know what? I just don't want to see him like suffer and go through this. Well, then go back, Erika. Go back and make sure he doesn't suffer. Go back and make sure that he has a friend. Go back and make sure there's somebody who really cares. You didn't know that this was going on, and if you don't believe that everything he's being accused of is true, go back. Make sure he's okay. Because which one is it? Was he mean, evil, nasty? Anyway, guys, for me, her always defending him and making up these stories to humanize him and to say that it's so sad that, he may end up in this home and no one's going to care. But, honey, isn't it so sad that these victims allegedly got not a dime? They suffered for years. And you're crying because he may be in a facility where there's actual doctors and nurses that are going to oversee him. Anyway, guys, chat with me in the comments. Let me know how you feel about this situation. Let me know how you felt about the Garcelle dinner exchange. And do you think she's going to make it? Even if they offer her another season, do you think she's going to survive the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Right now, she's taking a licking and licking and licking, and she's not winning. But guys, chat with me in the comments, and I will chat back. Don't forget to hit that like button and share my video with your friends and family, and we'll chat soon. See you in the next video.